I'm going to start out tonight with something that sounds like a very simple question. What is a chord? In music, a chord is often defined as 3 or more single pitches heard simultaneously. I think we can all agree on that. Captain Obvious would approve. The problem is that the moment we try to refine that definition, we are in big trouble. For instance, many people would say that in traditional Western harmony, chords are formed by stacking intervals of a third. However, let's suppose we start off with a G Mixolydian scale. Then we play every note in our scale, stacked in thirds, so that it builds a gigantic G13 chord. That giant chord will include 9, 11, and 13, are 3 jazz extensions. I'm not sure that anyone will agree that we are still in traditional Western harmony, but we intuitively know that we have a chord. So I think that we can dump this Western music definition as hopelessly incomplete and therefore totally useless. I think we are already down a very weird rabbit hole. We are finding out that defining a chord is a very messy thing. No two people are going to fully agree on what a chord is and what it is not. Let's say we play 5 black notes together in the right hand, in one hand position. That is what we call an F-sharp pentatonic scale. Obviously, something cannot be a scale and a chord at the same time. Or can it? It turns out that a chord absolutely can be all the notes in a scale played at the same time. In fact, in the end, we find out that you can play any number of notes together and someone is going to consider it a chord. That's not going to make most people happy who want simple, neat definitions. But in modern music, it is absolutely the truth. In other words, if you can play a bunch of notes together and sell it as a chord, it's going to be a chord. By selling it, I mean you have to be convinced it is a chord. And you have to convince other people that it is a chord. If you think it's a chord, and your friends think it's a chord, and then you become famous enough to use that chord in your own music, the whole world will agree that it's a chord, and you may end up having that chord named after you. And so we end up with a very uncomfortable but true idea that when you play 3 or more notes together, they are always going to form a chord in the minds of some people. I think we need an example. Let's play the F-sharp pentatonic scale together in the right hand. We already know that this can be considered a chord. Let's play a C dominant 7th chord without the 5th in the left hand. When you play both hands together, you now have a chord that uses all the notes in the C superlocrian scale. This certainly sounds like a chord to me. If we move from that to an F minor major 7 chord, and then we move to an F minor 6 chord, we immediately recognize that we have 3 chords that are very common in modern jazz. If I tried to give many examples like this in one video, the video would become hopelessly long. So I'm going to trust that people newer to music will see when we ask what appears to be the simple question of what a chord is. When we try to define it, we end up with something that is personal, hopelessly elusive, and very slippery. We end up in a fascinating rabbit hole. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Leave me comments about anything you like, anything that you'd like to see in the future, and remember that I consider all suggestions.